Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here. And for this episode, I have several releases from Kino Lorber for the month of February that I haven't had a chance to get a look at yet, but wanted to put them on your radar. So we're just going to run through this group real quick. And I'm going to start with some stuff from Francois Truffaut, who's getting a really nice spotlight from Kino in the month of February. We will start with The Bride Wore Black with Jean Moreau. This one from 1968. I know this has had a release. I want to say that Twilight Time did a bunch of Truffaut films, including this one and at least one other that I'm going to mention here. Actually, maybe two others. But this is one of his, great thrillers, if you will. And in fact, we have the commentary from film historians Julie Kirgo, Stephen Smith, and Nick Redman, obviously ported over from the aforementioned release from Twilight Time. Brilliant and daring writer-director Francois Truffaut marries passion with vengeance for one of the most haunting love stories ever filmed. The incandescent Jean Moreau is Julie, who has just wed her childhood sweetheart, but just moments after the ceremony, her beloved is murdered on the steps of the church. Emotionally distraught, Julie becomes obsessed with her bridegroom's death and begins a descent into madness as she relentlessly pursues the men responsible. Adapted from Cornell Woolrich, who, of course, is responsible for a lot of great source material for movies, most notably Rear Window, and scored by Bernard Herrmann. So you get a lot of Hitchcock connections here. The Bride Wore Black reinvents the Hitchcockian thriller and unveils the fascinating portrait of a woman ravaged by grief, featuring sumptuous cinematography by Raoul Coutard, who shot Shoot the Piano Player and others, and pitch black performances by Michael Bouquet, Jean-Claude Brialy, Charles Denner, Claude Rich, Daniel Boulanger, and Michael Lansdale, and Alexandra Stewart. So again, one of the classics from Truffaut, getting a nice slipcover reissue. It doesn't say anything about the transfer on this one, so I don't know if it's going to end up being the same one that we got on the Twilight Time, but that is a possibility, certainly. But I know that is long out of print now, so of course, if you never were able to get that, now you can get that. So that's Bride Wore Black. And then here's another one that I know that Twilight Time put out. This is Mississippi Mermaid from 1969, the next year, starring Jean-Paul Belmondo and Catherine Deneuve. Again, written and directed by Truffaut, although I don't know that he wrote and directed Bride Wore Black. I'll have to double check that. But this one is written and directed by him. And again, includes the audio commentary for film historians Julie Kirgo and Nick Redman, obviously from the Twilight Time release. Written and directed by legendary filmmaker Francois Truffaut, and featuring cool as ice cinema icons Catherine Deneuve and Jean-Paul Belmondo. Mississippi Mermaid is nothing less than breathtaking. When Isle de Reunion resident and tobacco tycoon Louis Mahe, that's Belmondo, first meets Julie Russell, that's Deneuve, his mail-order fiancée, he's completely enraptured by her radiance, but it soon becomes clear that Julie is hiding a dark secret, and when she disappears without a trace, Louis vows to stop at nothing to find her. A murder. Based on a novel by Cornell Woolrich. Again, Mississippi Mermaid is a beguiling mix of mystery and emotional entanglements with Michel Bouquet, Nelly Bourgeot, and lush cinematography by Denis Clerval, who shot Stolen Kisses, which is maybe my favorite Truffaut film. So again, no mention of the new transfer, so this may just be a straight reissue from that disc. I do remember liking this one, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. But I do love the combination of Belmondo and Deneuve and Cornell Woolrich. I mean, that's really pretty great right there, that trio, and then throwing Truffaut in as well. But so that's Mississippi Mermaid, getting a nice slipcover reissue from Kino. And last of the standalone Truffauts, we have The Story of Adele H. And again, this was a Twilight time, I can tell, because we have a commentary from Julie Kirigo and Nick Redman. Love is my religion, the young woman wrote in her diary. The god of that religion was a British lieutenant in Nova Scotia, 1863, a soldier who wanted nothing to do with the woman who adored him. Cinema icon Francois Truffaut directs this stunning Isabelle Adjani, from A Possession, of course, in the staggeringly powerful The Story of Adele H. The H stands for Hugo, and like her famed father, Victor Hugo, Adele had a gift for writing. However, she wrote in code, creating a secret diary. Only in modern times was the diary decrypted, revealing the true life story of Adele's obsessive quest to make the soldier love her. Impeccably photographed by Nestor Almendros, who also shot The Wild Child, which I'll talk about in a second, and just one of the great cinematographers of all time, honestly. When I say he shot, no, I'm not going to guess right now, but this musical lilting film with a title pull to it, that's a quote from Pauline Kael, earned Adjani numerous Best Actress honors, including an Academy Award nomination, and features Bruce Robinson, director of With Nail and I, as the obscure object of Adele's desire. So that's kind of cool, a little connection to With Nail and I with this film. This is from 1975, so it's some years later. But again, no mention of the transfer, so I'm going to assume straight reissue, but you get a nice slipcase for this Story of Adele H from Truffaut. And this next one is really cool, too. This is a set of Truffaut films. No extras for this, unfortunately, but one of my favorite Truffaut films beyond Stolen Kisses is this movie, Small Change, and that's included here in this set. This set includes The Wild Child from 1970, Small Change from 1976, The Man Who Loved Women from 1977, and The Green Room from 1978. So it's a 4-movie set. And there's a lot of cool stuff here, but like I said, I'm most excited about the Small Change getting a Blu-ray release finally. The 2-disc Blu-ray collection presents 4 films by legendary filmmaker Francois Truffaut, one of the French New Wave's brilliant architects. The Wild Child from 1970. It says, in a most mature and aesthetic achievement, Truffaut creates an absorbing drama, delicate and unpredictable as life itself, based on the true account of 18th century doctor Jean-Marc Gaspard Itard. The film follows the capture of a young boy who's discovered living like an animal in the forest. Truffaut himself gives a memorable performance as Itard. Yeah, that's right. He stars in that one. Unyielding in his belief that the child, played with haunting precision by Jean-Pierre Cargol, can be transformed into a civilized being. So something of a Pygmalion type story there. Then, of course, Small Change. Truffaut weaves his love of kids and cinema seamlessly together in this tribute to the joys, yearnings, pains, and wonders of childhood. The film presents a group of 10 youngsters, boys and girls, whose adventures in the quaint village of Thiers illustrate from first baby bottle to first kiss the different stages of passage from early childhood to adolescence. Also known as pocket money, this kaleidoscopic coming-of-age finds Truffaut at his most charming and insightful. Yeah, I agree. It is, like, for those that love for the 400 Blows, it's kind of sort of an antithetical thing to that, in terms of it's not as dark, although it's not always pleasant. I mean, it's not always upbeat and fun, but it is for the most part a lighter coming of age story, and really a charming one at that. So very excited to check that out on this Blu-ray. The Man Who Loved Women, 1977. This irresistible, sophisticated comedy paints the delirious portrait of Saturnine satyr Bernard Moraine, Charles Denner, who worships the feminine spirit, the idea of woman. Truffaut neither condemns nor glorifies him for what could be so worthy of a subject of obsession as women. The film is a splendid example of the auteur's nimble way with his stories of erotic love, featuring screen goddesses Brigitte Fossey, Nellie Bourgeot, Geneviève Fontanelle, and Natalie Bay and Leslie Caron. And then The Green Room, 1978, in a most personal and rigorous film, Truffaut stars, again, himself, as Julien Daven, a man who so loves the dead that he can no longer love the living. While building a shrine to his deceased wife, he meets Cecilia, Natalie Bay, who is also in mourning. She falls in love with him, thereby giving him a last chance at resurrection, also known as The Vanishing Fiancé, and based on the writings of Henry James. This classic is a somber, haunting parable of life and death and the barrier of memory that stands between. That one I've never seen, and I'm very curious about. So this set, it's a 2-disc, so you're not splitting all 4 films on 1 disc. You have 2 films per disc on this set, and a very exciting month for Truffaut fans. If you're into him, you're getting a lot of stuff from him this month. Okay, what else? Well, little action time. That Man Bolt, starring Fred Williamson. This one is from 1973 and actually includes an interview with the Hammer himself, That Man Hammer, interview with star Fred Williamson. This is a brand new 2K master, and it says action legend Fred Williamson from Hammer, Black Caesar, Original Gangsters, is That Man Bolt, the highest flying, toughest talking, hardest hitting dude the world has ever faced. When you need a real man of steel, martial arts expert Jefferson Bolt is the high price pick for the job. His latest client, a mysterious British man with a cool $1 million in cash, has an offer that Bolt can't refuse. Transport his money from Hong Kong to Mexico City or be sent to prison on phony charges. But halfway to his destination, Bolt discovers that the money is funny and he's been set up to take the fall. With a price on his head and nowhere to turn, Bolt sets out to destroy the crime syndicate that dared to take him on. From high-stakes danger in a glitzy Las Vegas to high-speed chases through gritty Los Angeles, Bolt strikes again and again, with an explosive battle culminating in a fiery finish. Co-directed by Henry Levin, Kiss the Girls and Make Them Die, and Murderers Row, and David Lowell Rich, A Lovely Way to Die, The Concorde Airport 79. So definitely want to check this one out. This feels like a Tarantino kind of movie to me. I know Kiss the Girls and Make Them Die was one of the spy sort of spoofy movies that he programmed, I want to say early 2000s, at one of the Austin film festivals he used to do. And so that would make this something he would definitely be aware of, because I know he's a fan of Fred Williamson. So definitely a movie that seems like a lot of fun. Great cover, nice slipcase, and cool that it has an interview with the Hammer himself. So this one should be a lot of fun. That's That Man Bolt. Okay, this one is from Kino Classics and Something Weird, part of their Nudist series. The Something Weird catalog seems to have a lot of nudist films. This was definitely a trend at a certain point. This one is from 1960. Well, there's actually multiple films here. Nudist Life is one of them, but then you have 10 Days in a Nudist Camp and Shangri-La and more. Nudist Life is from 61, 10 Days in a Nudist Camp from 57, Shangri-La from 61. And so, and then you have some bonus shorts as well. Back to Nature, the expose of the nudist racket, Nature Girls, Nudes, Nudists, and Nudism Around the World, Nudist Memories. Those are from like 55, 1938, 52, 61, etc. So lots of nudist camp stuff happening here. They've done a bunch of other nudist films if you go and look at the Something Weird Kino collaborations. Today's viewers may be baffled by the cinematic atrocities that mid-century filmgoers had to endure in order to witness naked bodies on screen. Released in the guise of educational documentaries, nudist films usually combine newly shot material with cannibalized nudist films, stock footage, and decades-old ethnographic films. Backed with needle-drop music and processed under substandard lab conditions, eventually these Frankenstein films became a genre unto themselves, paving the way for more gruesome Mondo films that would soon follow. Dan Sunny and Maurice Zori's Nudist Life, 1961, follows a quintet of ringers as they visit a Florida nudist colony. 10 Days in a Nudist Camp, 1957, is a reworking and expansion of This Nude World from 1932. And in Dick Randall's Shangri-La, Jerry Lewis impersonator Sammy Petrillo provides an uninterrupted monologue of cringe-inducing jokes and nightclub shtick while he stalks a pair of sun worshippers down in the eastern seaboard. And then it talks about Nudist Life was mastered in 2K from the original 35mm negative. A standard definition master was used for sections where the negative was decomposed beyond use. There's a little more to that in terms of the transfer, but I know that as much care as can possibly be taken has been taken with this collaboration between Something Weird and Kino, but definitely sort of a cult item for folks that are into that. That's Nudist Life. And then we got a couple classic films. This is called Raw Wind in Eden, and it is from 1958. And this one stars Esther Williams and Jeff Chandler. Ever the scumbag Jeff Chandler. I've really come to despise him when I see him in films now because he played so many heels over time. And I won't give away what his deal is in this, but Esther Williams did some noirs. I want to say I covered one of them, relatively recently, but I'm blanking on the title. And this is one that I actually heard of through Andy Wolverton's wonderful channel, Journeys in Darkness and Light, which I highly recommend subscribing to because he does a wonderful rundown every month at the beginning of the month of what film noir movies are getting Blu-ray releases. And he covers neo-noir and classic noir and foreign noir. And I always look forward to his monthly videos kind of laying out the month. And this was one that he featured. I didn't even realize it was a noir at the time. But he gives a nice little rundown of it. This is a brand new 2K master. Esther Williams. The Unguarded Moment was the other noir, which I do recommend that she got a Blu-ray from Kino last year. And Jeff Chandler set the screen ablaze in this romantic South Seas noir directed by Richard Wilson. On a small Mediterranean island live Costanza, her father, Urbano, and beachcomber Moore, that's Jeff Chandler, whom she plans to marry. Into this Eden come two plane crash survivors, supermodel Laura, that's Esther Williams, and her playboy friend Wally, Carlos Thompson. The beautiful Laura becomes a bad influence, especially when love triangles start to develop, breathtakingly shot in CinemaScope by Italian cinematographer Enzo Serafin, Journey to Italy. So yeah, this is 235-1, beautiful CinemaScope widescreen, news scan. And I dig Esther Williams in these kind of movies. And it's, as much as I, kind of despise Jeff Chandler, it's mostly because he does a good job at being a heel, and he's good in this. So 1958 has an audio commentary by film historian David Del Valle and film historian filmmaker Daniel Creamer. Definitely a noir folks are going to want to check out if you're into noir, and especially color widescreen noir. So that is Raw Wind in Eden. Just a couple more here. We have White Woman, and this one is from 1933. So kind of a pre-Cody thing that stars, as you can see, Charles Laughton and Carole Lombard. And this is a brand new 2K master. Screen greats Carole Lombard and Charles Laughton star in the gripping pre-code drama about forbidden love, White Woman. The world of a widowed nightclub performer, the luminous Lombard, changes drastically when she agrees to marry a wealthy plantation owner, larger-than-life Laughton, As the two begin their domestic life together on his remote Malaysian estate, she realizes the extent of his cruel and jealous nature. She soon finds herself drawn to another man, but must keep their love a secret to avoid the wrath of her husband. Hollywood ace Stuart Walker, the Eagle and the Hawk, directs, and Charles Bickford, the Plainsman, Kent Taylor, I'm No Angel, and Percy Kilbride co-star in White Woman, which barrels to a white-knuckle climax set deep in the dark heart of the jungle. So 2 island movies between this and Raw Wind and Eden. But Carol Lombard, Charles Laughton, I'm on board, absolutely. Also features a commentary, this one with Alan Arkush and film historian Daniel Creamer. I'm a huge Arkush fan, so that has inspired me to put this towards the top of my watch list. If he's into this movie, I'm definitely going to check it out. And the Laughton-Lombard combo was already pretty enticing. So that's White Woman. And then Sorrowful Jones. This is from 1949. And it is Bob Hope and Lucille Ball film. I want to say it's an early one for Hope. Brand new 2K master. Screen legends Bob Hope and Lucille Ball unite for the first time in this heartwarming story spun from Damon Runyon's famous fable about a penny-pinching Broadway bookie called Sorrowful Jones. That's Bob Hope. Sorrowful takes a bet from a rotten gambler who leaves his young daughter as collateral. When the bettor doesn't come back, Sorrowful Jones learns some hard lessons about parenthood, whether he wants to or not. On top of that, Lucy plays fiery nightclub singer Gladys, the apple of Sorrowful's eye, but gangster Bruce Cabot stakes his claim on her affections, and the sparks fly in all directions. A remake of 1934's Shirley Temple film Little Miss Marker, this wonderful version from director Sidney Landfield marks Hope's debut as a bona fide, quote, actor. So I definitely am a Bob Hope fan. I like his collaborations with Lucille Ball, and this one sounds kind of fun, set in the world of gambling and bookies and nightclub singers. I definitely am looking forward to checking this one out. I've never seen it before. Bruce Cabot, Bill Demarest looks like he's in it. Thomas Gomez, also great. So a good supporting cast that I'm sure will make this enjoyable. And then lastly, we have a DVD, which caught my eye. It's called A Life's Work, a film about taking the long view. Now, this was just one where I read the back and I was like, oh, what is this about? It says, what's it like to dedicate your life to work that won't be completed in your lifetime? Over the course of 15 years, filmmaker David Licata focused on 4 projects and the people behind them in an effort to answer this universal question. The subjects include Jill Tarter, director of the SETI Institute, who has been involved in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence since the 1970s, David and Jared Millarch, father and son tree farmers and co-founders of the Champion Tree Project, who clone old-growth trees to combat climate change. Gospel music archivist Robert Darden, who founded the Black Gospel Music Restoration Project, an organization that is trying to preserve at-risk recordings from the Black Gospel music tradition, and Paolo Soleri, controversial architect behind the Arcosanti, a town designed to test his theories about housing an overpopulated planet. We discover what inspired them to begin, what obstacles they face, what drives and sustains them, and how they measure success of endeavors they will not live to see completed. Also features 7 deleted scenes and 8 gospel music tracks. So this is just an interesting combination of people. It reminds me a little bit of like something like Errol Morris's Fast, Cheap, and Out of Control, although this sounds, much more sort of, not as quirky, we'll say, although these people all sound fascinating. But you just have a portrait of multiple people dedicated and passionate about their projects. And so I'd never heard of this. This is, I think, a new film from maybe like last year. But that I'd never heard of it at all. Life's Work. So that is on DVD from Kino. And that'll do it for this February update. Hopefully there's some stuff in here for you to check out. Like I said, a great month for Truffaut fans, some fun Fred Williamson, and some fun classic stuff as well. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.